Welcome back to the Nurburgring, race fans. Thursday night lights are on, and we're ready for some wheel-to-wheel action in the Super Sprint Championship.
Absolutely. Round 5 of 5, race 1 of 4, and the tension is palpable. Every point counts at this stage in the season.
It sure does. This is race 17 of 20, and with a tight championship battle at the top, anything can happen.
Remember, it's just 12 minutes plus 1 lap around this iconic circuit. No time for errors, and every overtake is crucial.
Martin Mole leads the championship, but John Astrop is right on his tail. Can Astrop close the gap tonight? We'll soon find out.
And let's not forget Chris Stokes, sitting in third. He's been consistently quick all season, and he'll be looking to capitalize on any mistakes from the top two.
So, a look at the grid and Mole starts on pole, as expected. Stokes right alongside him, looking to make a move early.
Interesting to see McFarquhar up in P3, carrying a fair bit of ballast tonight, though, which could affect his pace. I remember struggling with the extra weight myself in this kind of sprint race. It really makes you work the tires harder.
Astrop down in P4, not ideal for the championship contender. He needs to make up places quickly if he wants to keep the pressure on Mole.
And a little further down the field, we see Constable Berry in P6. He's had a mixed season so far, but a strong result here could really boost his confidence. Likewise for Snape down in 11th. He's had a couple of podiums this season, so we'll be hoping for a good result here tonight.
Plenty of potential for some exciting battles throughout the field. This is going to be good. And they're off.
Pinkerton and Hutchinson already swapping positions. A great start for both B-class drivers.
McFarquhar loses P3 to Astrop. That ballast is really hurting him on the straights, I think.
It's a busy midfield. Look at that. Hutchinson is really pushing hard in his Radical Works Megane. He's up to 6th momentarily there.
Constable Berry getting swamped. He's dropped 2 places now in the space of a couple of seconds.
Snape and Walters having a little ding-dong battle further back. They are really close in the championship standings, so every position counts for those two.
Hutchinson back up to P6. A fantastic start from the Radical Works driver.
He'll need to be careful though, if he is going to mix it with the quicker class of cars in front. One wrong move through traffic and that could be his race over.
Mole and Stokes meanwhile maintaining their positions at the front. A clean start for both of them.
Yes, a crucial opening few seconds for the championship leaders. They'll want to avoid any early incidents and settle into a rhythm.
Oh no, McFarquhar into the barriers. That's a real blow to his race. He was running so well despite the ballast.
Yeah, big mistake there. He'll be kicking himself for that one.
A bit of a jostle for position there between Astrop and Lindo, but Astrop holds on. He needs to keep pushing forward.
Every position is vital for him tonight with Mole out front.
This is a great battle between McFarquhar and Lemrich. They're really going at it.
McFarquhar started the race in P3, so he'll be disappointed to be battling for what is effectively 13th place now.
Lemrich started down in 12th, so he's actually gained ground. But he's going to have to work for it against McFarquhar. McFarquhar showing some real grit here. He's desperate to make up for that earlier incident.
Lemrich not giving an inch though. He's putting up a stout defense and making McFarquhar work for every overtake attempt.
This is what close racing is all about. They are side by side through this complex of corners.
Incredible car control from both drivers. They're right on the limit.
Edge of your seat driving. They're swapping positions corner after corner.
It looks like McFarquhar finally has the advantage.
Oh dear, Lemrich into the back of McFarquhar. That's a penalty for sure.
Not a clever move at all. McFarquhar had nowhere to go. Punts, spins McFarquhar, is how the stewards have described it, and I can't disagree.
And as a result of that incident, McFarquhar drops down the order again. Unlucky for him. And another incident involving Lemrich. This time with Pinkerton. He's really not having a good race, is he? Another warning for Lemrich.
He needs to calm down and focus on his driving. These incidents are costing him places and potentially points.
Pinkerton drops down a place after that contact. He'll be hoping to avoid any further drama. Constable Berry into the barriers. He's losing valuable time and positions.
Yes, another driver having a difficult evening. This track is really punishing any mistakes tonight.
Coxis gets past McFarquhar. The pro driver is having a nightmare race. He's just losing place after place. Hutchinson into the wall. That's a big hit, and he's lost several places as a result.
That's a shame. He was having a strong race up until that point. Hopefully the car isn't too badly damaged.
Walters gets past Astrop. That could be crucial for the championship battle in Class A. Martin Mole takes the checkered flag. A dominant victory for the championship leader.
A perfect drive from Mol. He controlled the race from start to finish.
And Chris Stokes comes home in second. Solid points for him, but he needed to win to really challenge Mol.
A consistent performance from Stokes, as we've come to expect.
Elliot Norton finishes third. A great drive from the Team 87 driver. An excellent result after starting down in P5.
He kept his nose clean and capitalized on the mistakes of others. A podium he'll be very pleased with.
So, a dominant win for Mol, extending his championship lead. A tough race for several drivers, with incidents involving McFarka, Lemrich, Constable Berry, and Hutchinson.
Definitely a race of attrition out there tonight. Plenty of drama throughout the field. 3 more races to go, and it's still all to play for.
So, a significant change at the top of the championship standings after that last race. Mol extends his lead over Astrop, putting him in a strong position with just 3 races to go.
Yes, a win for Mol and second for Stokes means the gap has increased. Coxis, Snape and Walters all move up the order as well, capitalizing on some of the incidents throughout the field. A real shame for McFarquhar, who drops down a place to 11th overall after that disastrous race.
Still all to play for though, especially for those battling for position in the B-Class Championship. Well, a very different look to the grid for race 2. Reverse grid order, so we've got some unusual names at the front. Ross Elliott on pole, a great opportunity for him to pick up some points.
It's a lottery off the line in these reverse grids, I can tell you. I've started from the back and won from there myself, as well as started from pole and been taken out in the first corner. Anything can happen. It'll be interesting to see how the championship contenders, like Mol and Astrop, make their way through the field from the back. They're starting in P15 and P10 respectively, which isn't ideal.
Absolutely. Stokes too, down in P14. He needs a good result to keep the pressure on the top 2.
McFarquhar starting in P6. After his disastrous last race, he'll be looking for some redemption tonight and will surely be keen to avoid a repeat of that first corner incident.
Lots of potential for some exciting overtakes tonight. The faster cars will need to be patient and pick their moments carefully.
The key will be making clean passes and avoiding any contact. This track isn't very forgiving, as we saw in the last race.
And we're racing.
McFarquhar already making moves. He's not hanging about after that last race. He's up into the top 5 now.
Norton also making progress. Remember, he finished on the podium in the last race, so his confidence will be higher.
Elliott and Bountarkus swapping places at the front, but it's Lemrich who now leads.
Astrop losing ground. He's being swallowed up by the midfield. He needs to get a move on if he wants to keep up with Mol.
Stokes also struggling to make progress. He's mired down in the pack and will need to find a way past these slower cars quickly. It's crucial for Stokes to gain places here, as every point counts in the championship battle.
Constable Berry gets past Snape. A good move from him, but he has a lot of work to do to get back into the points positions.
It's chaos out there. This is typical of a reverse grid race. The quick drivers are desperate to get to the front, and the slower drivers are fighting to hold on to their positions as long as possible. It is a recipe for incident.
Mol's still down in P15. He's got a mountain to climb.
He'll be biding his time, picking his moments to overtake. He can't afford to get involved in any incidents.
Incident at the front. Lemrich and Elliott tangle, and McFarka capitalizes, moving up to P3. Penalty for Norton. He's been a bit too aggressive there, trying to force a move on Constable Berry.
Attempt to pass into closing gap, say the stewards. He needs to be more patient. These moves will come if he waits for the right opportunity.
A brief battle between Coxis and Lemrich, but Lemrich reclaims the position. They are both Class A drivers carrying maximum ballast, so really important that they make up as many places as quickly as possible. McFarka into the lead, a stunning drive from the pro driver after starting down in P6. Crash. Norton and Astrop collide. That's a big blow for Astrop's championship hopes. Mol benefits, moving up to P8. Stokes losing more ground. Mol and Astrop both get through, and he's now down in 10th. This is not the start he needed.
He's really struggling in this race. He needs to find some pace quickly if he wants to salvage any points.
Hutchinson gets past Stokes. Things going from bad to worse for the Class B driver. Elliott and Lemrich swapping positions again. This time Elliott gets the upper hand.
And Lemrich immediately returns the favor. A great battle between these two.
Coxis into the barriers. That's the end of his race, and he loses another place to Pinkerton. Mac McFarka wins the race. A brilliant recovery drive after his disappointing performance in race 1.
What a drive! From P6 on the grid to victory. He really needed that result after the earlier disappointment.
Boutarkus and Lemrich finish second and third, a photo finish. A thrilling end to the race.
Great drives from both of them. They kept the pressure on McFarquhar right to the end.
So, a fantastic win for McFarquhar, bouncing back from his earlier misfortune. A tough race for Astrop, losing ground in the championship after that incident with Norton. And a disappointing race for Stokes, who will be hoping for better luck in the final 2 races.
Plenty of drama throughout the field. 2 races to go, and the championship battles are really heating up.
So, after that dramatic race 2, McFarquhar jumps up a couple of places in the championship. A vital win for him, keeping his title hopes alive.
A good recovery after that first race disaster. Disappointment for Stokes though, who drops another place in the standings and has a lot of ground to make up now.
Mole still leads, but Astrop will be feeling the pressure after that incident with Norton. The gap between them is closing, setting up a tense final 2 races. A more familiar look to the grid for race 3, with Mole on pole. Stokes alongside him, looking to make a strong start and close the gap in the championship.
McFarquhar in P3. He'll be full of confidence after that win in race 2. Can he challenge the top 2 again tonight?
Astrop down in P4. He needs a good result here to keep the pressure on Mole. Every point is crucial at this stage of the season.
Walters starts down in 16th. A tough ask for him to move through the field and gain valuable points tonight. He will surely be hoping to avoid a repeat of McFarquhar's race 1 performance, as anything less than a very good race here will surely compromise his chances of a strong finish in the overall standings.
And keep an eye on Coxus, starting in P5. He's been consistently quick all season, and he'll be aiming for another strong finish to maintain his challenge in the Class B Championship.
It's going to be a fascinating race, that's for sure. The championship battles are incredibly tight, and every position counts.
And they're off. Mole and Stokes immediately battling for the lead.
Stokes takes the lead, but Mole fights back. Great stuff.
Astrop loses a place to Coxus. He needs to respond quickly if he wants to stay in contention.
Pinkerton, Elliott, and Hutchinson all jostling for position in the midfield. It's anyone's guess as to who will come out on top there.
Lindo and Snape swapping places in the midfield too. This is frantic stuff.
Constable Berry and Lemrich also battling hard. Every position is vital for those two.
Oh, and a crash. Hutchinson into Pinkerton. That's going to be a penalty for Hutchinson, I think.
Misses breaking point, understeers into James Pinkerton, say the stewards, and collects another couple of drivers on the way through as well. A racing incident, but Hutchinson is at fault according to the stewards. He'll need to serve that penalty shortly.
McFarquhar gets past Stokes. He's up to P2 now and closing in on Mole.
Walters making up places at the back. He'll be pleased with that after starting last.
Lemrich gets past Stokes. He's moving up through the field. Hutchinson tries to get past Walters, but he can't make it stick. Walters holds on to P12. This is a great battle between Lindo and Turbin. They're really going at it.
Lindo started the race in P7, while Turbin started way back in P15, so great progress for him.
They're both Class B drivers, so this is important for their class championship as well. Lindo is currently just outside the top 10 in the overall standings, while Turbin sits down in 22nd, so not a great championship so far for him. Lindo showing some real determination here. He's desperate to keep Turbin behind him.
Turbin not giving an inch though. He's right on Lindo's tail, looking for any opportunity to get past.
This is what close racing is all about. They are side by side through this sequence of corners.
Incredible car control from both drivers. They're right on the edge of grip.
A slight lock up from Turbin. Does Lindo have the inside line?
He does, but Turbin comes back at him. This is fantastic stuff.
They've been at it for almost half a lap now. Who's going to come out on top?
It looks like Lindo finally has the advantage. He's starting to pull a small gap.
Stokes and Lemrich battling hard, and they swap places again. A fantastic display of close, clean racing. Oh, and another warning for Pinkerton. He's into the back of Lindo. The stewards say he did not hold his brakes after a loss of control. He needs to be more careful. And another incident involving Pinkerton. This time he's tagged Elliott, sending him off track. Another warning for Pinkerton.
He really isn't having a good race, is he? Those warnings could easily have been penalties.
Constable Berry briefly gets ahead of Walters, but Walters trying to fire back and reclaim the position.
Constable Berry finally makes the move stick on Walters. He's up to P8 now.
Norton gets past Stokes. Stokes is dropping down the order. Not what he needed in this crucial race. Martin Mole wins the race. Another dominant performance from the championship leader.
He controlled the race from start to finish. A crucial win for his championship aspirations.
McFarquhar comes home in second. Another strong result for the pro driver. He's really found his form in these last 2 races. Astrop finishes third, good points for him, but he needs to win the final race if he wants to challenge Mol for the title. A dominant win for Mol, extending his lead in the championship. A solid second place for McFarka, and a decent result for Astrop in third. A disappointing race for Stokes, though, losing several places and giving Mol a real advantage going into the final race.
One race to go, and it's all down to the wire. Mol has a good lead, but it's not over yet. Anything can happen in motorsport.
So, Mol further extends his championship lead after that last race. He's in a commanding position now, but with one race to go, it's not over yet.
Astrop will need a flawless performance in this final race, and he'll need Mol to have some serious misfortune if he wants to snatch the title. A tall order, but stranger things have happened.
And further down the field, the battle for the Class B championship is still wide open. Cox's currently leads, but Walters, Snape, and Constable Berry are all within striking distance. Reverse grid for the final race of the season, and it's Turbin who starts on pole. A great opportunity for him to end the season on a high note.
All eyes will be on the back of the grid, though, where Mol and Astrop line up in P16 and P14 respectively. This is it, the final showdown. Mol has the advantage, but Astrop will be throwing everything he has at this race.
Stokes starts in P11. He's mathematically still in with a chance of taking the title, but he needs a near-perfect race and a lot of luck.
McFarka in P15. He's had a mixed season, but those two strong finishes in the last couple of races will have boosted his confidence.
And what about Cox's, starting in P13? He's currently leading the Class B championship, but Walters, Snape, and Constable Berry are all right behind him. This is going to be a tense race for those drivers.
Edge of your seat stuff. The final race of the season, a reverse grid, and a championship on the line. It doesn't get much better than this.
The final race is underway, and it's all to play for.
Turbin gets away cleanly from pole, with Elliott right on his tail. Remember, Elliott is starting P2 tonight in the Radical Works Megane.
McFarka gets past Astrop, a crucial overtake for both drivers. Astrop now down in 15th.
Lindo makes a move on Bantarkus. He's up to P5 now.
Stokes and Constable Berry swapping places in the midfield. They're fighting for every position in the tight Class B championship battle.
Pinkerton gets past Elliott. He's up to P2 and chasing down Turbin for the lead.
Cox's and Lemrich also battling hard. They're exchanging places constantly.
Norton gets past Bantarkus. He's moving up through the field steadily.
Hutchinson gets past Elliott. He's into the top 3 now.
Mol's still down in P16. He's got a lot of work to do if he wants to secure the championship.
McFarka into the back of Cox's. A warning for McFarka. He needs to be more careful. Hutchinson spins Elliott. That's a penalty for Hutchinson. He's having a terrible start to this race. And another incident. Hutchinson and Norton collide, and Stokes benefits, moving up to P4. Bantarkus spins Snape. That's a penalty for Bantarkus. He's completely lost control there. Loss of control, punts, spins Rich Snape, say the stewards. Not a good move at all.
No, a silly mistake. He'll be kicking himself for that one. It's been a tough season for Bantarkus, hasn't it? He's shown glimpses of pace, but the consistency just hasn't been there. I remember when I first started out.
You were always pretty consistent, weren't you?
Well, most of the time. Everyone makes mistakes. It's how you learn from them that counts. And you have to remember how much pressure these drivers are under and how much is at stake at this final round of the championship, especially for the Class B drivers like Bantarkus, where the competition is so tight.
Absolutely. Speaking of pressure, Mol still has it all to do from the back of the grid if he wants to secure the championship. Snape tags Lemrich, a warning for Snape as he rejoins the track. McFarka spins Lindo, another penalty for McFarka. He's really not having a good race, is he? And they collide again. Norton and McFarka tangle, and this time Norton comes out on top. Turbin into the barriers. That's the end of his race, and Stokes moves up to P2. Stokes takes the lead. He's past Pinkerton and now he's got Mol in his sights.
He needs to build a gap now if he wants to have any chance of challenging for the title.
Mol gets past Snape. He's moving up the order, but he still has a long way to go. Crash. Walters and Astrop collide. That's a disaster for Astrop. Constable Berry gains a place. Coxis gets past Lemrich. He's consolidating his lead in the Class B championship. Pinkerton and Norton touch, and Pinkerton retakes P2. McFarker gets past Pinkerton. He's up into P2 now. Chris Stokes wins the final race. What a drive, from P11 on the grid to victory.
An incredible performance, and McFarquhar finishes right behind him in second, after starting way back in 15th. A stunning drive from him as well.
Pinkerton comes home in third. A solid result for him after a chaotic race. So, a dramatic end to the season. Stokes wins the final race, but it wasn't enough to take the overall championship. Mole finishes further down the field, but he's done enough to secure the title.
Plenty of incidents throughout the field, with penalties for Hutchinson and Bountarkis, and warnings for McFarquhar and Snape. A fitting end to a thrilling season of racing.
So, that's it. The Super Sprint Championship is over for another year, and it's Martin Mole who takes the title. A dominant season from him, with 6 race wins.
A well-deserved victory. He's been the most consistent driver all season, and he held his nerve under pressure in that final race.
Astrop finishes second overall, a strong performance from him, but ultimately not enough to challenge Mole. Stokes rounds out the top 3, taking the Class B championship title in the process. A fantastic achievement for him.
Lots of movement in the championship standings tonight. Coxis finishes a strong 4th overall after starting the evening in 5th. McFarquhar managed to climb a place to finish in the top 10 after those 2 great drives in races 2 and 4.
A thrilling end to a fantastic season of racing. We've seen some incredible battles, some spectacular overtakes, and some dramatic crashes. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next season.